Well, just sitting here running through some emails, and talking to everybody, thinking about the way the races went tonight, looking forward to the week ahead, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Obviously, for many of you in Ontario, the O'Brien Awards are on Saturday. I'm going to be home on Saturday to train the horses. I still have not got an answer from Curtis. I'm going to have to push him on that. Regarding videoing our horses, I want to be home Saturday. I'm going to be home Friday afternoon. Ollie has practice Friday night. My parents fly in Friday night. Obviously, James is up for O'Brien Driver of the Year. And we're going to go to the O'Brien Awards. So, how is the week going to play out? Friday, I'm not going to be at the Meadows. Spitfire Overseas is in. I asked Ronnie Wren if he would rather drive Spitfire rather than the horse he drove. He was down to drive out of the 9-hole. You know, if you want to, drive's yours. So he is going to choose Spitfire to drive. He's driven him before and won with him before. In fact, may have put his mark on him before, him or Cologne, I'm not sure. Oh, what am I talking about? No, Brett and Stacy put his mark on him when he was in the Meadows. The fastest mile he ever trotted to Meadows was potentially with Ronnie or Dave, one of the other Army. I can't remember. Anyway, I figured I'd make a video. I did get a ton of emails from people, and this is the time of year I always feel bad. You know, I get it. I'm looking at least 2 of them right now. Everything okay with my horse? Everything okay with this horse? I had one of our newer clients, really nice man, Ron, message me and say, geez, Perfect Thought just seems to have fizzled out since she went on a tear. I said, no. I told everybody I was going to tell whoever was going with her to put her in the middle of the pack. There's no need to show her off every week. There's no need to have her on her toes. All she's going to do is get a little bit tired, really, by the time we get her ready to race. I want her sharp. I want her to learn how to race before she gets there. Sitting in amongst the pack will help her do that. Today was not a very nice track, and quite frankly, we were smoking along pretty good, and today was a day, this is the week I really wanted to cut Sweet Lake loose, right? I really wanted to push her, and I did. Pushed her hard today, and she was good. Jason pushed the other filly, and I had told Amy before she went out with her, just put her in the middle of the pack and, let her pace on the end of it. Another one, Perfection Hanover. What's wrong with them? Guys, I told you, I need everybody to pay attention. When a horse has 3 weeks off, whether it be castration, well, you wouldn't get 3 weeks for that unless there was infection, but regardless of why you have the time off, if you have 3 weeks off, you lose a lot. Not only do you lose the 3 weeks of training, but now you have to catch up in the next few weeks of training. So you're off those 3 weeks while everybody else is training, then you're coming back and trying to catch up, and it's not an easy thing to do. It takes time. Doesn't take a week. Doesn't take 2. Might take a month or more before you start to see these horses come forward. And as I had said to a number of our clients today, and I say it every year, you guys get to see behind the curtain, right? You get to see everything. You don't get to call me and get a line of bullshit from a trainer. Oh, train great today. Don't worry, horse is great. Oh, perfect. And go to bed and feel great about yourself. You get to watch it all unfold, right? You get to watch all of it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The ones that make breaks, the ones that are interfering or getting out of gear that we're working on right now. The ones that look great, the ones that look okay. But you have to understand what you're looking at, right? You have to take it into context. This is February the 4th, 2025. You are, for the most part, 5 months away from seeing anywhere near top speed from your horse and full potential and ability, come about. So you need to take that with a grain of salt. And this is just human nature, right? I have my own expectations. Steve and I talked about this today when he had called me. I have my expectations too, but they have to be grounded, right? You have to understand what you see, what it was, what it wasn't, and hope. Think about of what it could be, right? And we went through this. Now, I'll use Green Glitter as an example because for those of you that are around, you heard how highly I spoke of her last year because she was very, very talented. But she had a very low ceiling, and her work ethic was in question. That is the key component, is the work ethic. I talked about that today at length in our yearling recap, so to speak. And I just want everybody to know, feel free, feel free to call me, message me, text me. I'm certainly not trying to deter anybody from asking about their horse or trying to get an explanation from me. But I do want everybody to understand that you need to understand what you're watching, right? So, what else do we watch tonight? Well, I think we watched the departure of Early Play and possibly Trevino on Green from our barn. Listen, I love both those horses. They want to do their work, and I always will respect and stick up for horses that want to do their work. As I said to Mr. Collings that owns all of Early Play, you know, when you pace him 56-1 and are out of gear multiple times trying to catch horses at pace 54, it's a problem. When the race is going to go in 56 and a piece, I can contain him. I can use him and race him how I want. But when you're chasing a 54 mile the whole way, it makes it very difficult, right? You really start to see the cracks, the chinks in the armor, so to speak, right? Those little steps turn into bigger steps. And, as you saw tonight, potentially breaks. He just needs to be on a place like Saratoga would be great for this guy, I think. You just can't keep going miles in 54. You're going to blow him apart. At some point, something's gonna give. He's gonna jump on a foot, or he's gonna get a line in his knee, or something like that. He needs to be in where you can race him at 90-95%, not ask him for 102%. And that's what we did tonight. He made a break. Trevino on Green, God love him. You know, if he was in a smaller stable, I'd say turn him out, give him time to mature, bring him back, start over. He wants to be a horse so much. Right? He wants to be a horse the same as I wanted to be a ball player when I was a kid. But unfortunately, we all come to the realization at some point that it's just not going to happen. Now, for him, it could. It's just not going to be... I don't think it's going to be a very viable 2025. What I would like to do... no, not what I'm going to do, not what I'd like to do, but what would be best for him, send him out with the Amish. Let him work in the fields for a year, and then bring him back in. A bigger, stronger colt. With the competitiveness he has in him, yeah, he could be a horse. He's just not going to be a horse for us. And the reason for this, there's going to be a lot of people. I know Patricia's going to say, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Why don't you... This is not 1985. You have to have a certain level of ability and talent to be a good horse. And by good horse, I mean a horse that can go out and win races, right? Not go on the track a long shot. And as I said, God love him. He wants to be a horse, and that's what I like about him. But as much as I will stick up for him and give him the benefit of the doubt, I do have to do what's best for the barn and what's best for our clients. And I think we're probably just going to move on from Trevino on Green. So, and that shouldn't be a shock to anybody. John's horse went out in the next race. Watch your mouth, got up and won. But see, there's the thing. When you have a horse that is in the right class with an ounce of ability, they're going to go out and do good. Now, the problem with Watch Your Mouth is he's now out of that class. Well, he fits it for $100, and then he's truly out of that class. So even if you race him next week and he finishes 5th, he's gone. And he cannot do in the class above this. Not here at Northfield. Maybe somewhere else, but not here. So, again, the first 3 we raced tonight, different scenarios. One stayed trotting and looked terrible. One made a break, paced 56. The other one paced 2 seconds slower and went to the winner's circle. Yet all 3 of them probably have to leave. And that's the time of year for this, right? This was the whole point, to keep some of the horses, bring them back, and see how they come back as 3-year-olds. Some of them are going to be able to do. Some of them aren't. Now, we got Tenacious Hanover left in the 13th. I have been very impressed with the way he's been racing. Here's a horse that did jump up in class and will be able to do in that class. It looks like our buddy Tyler, leaving right beside me, is probably the horse to beat in there. I'd like to get a great trip in behind him if I could. The thing about Tenacious is he doesn't blast off the car, and that first turn comes quick. So I would like to just hold position if I could. You know, let Tyler go. Make everybody else take a seat in behind us and sit in behind him. See if we can get a crack at him at the head of the lane. That will be the plan for race 13. Well, I was happy today with the way the horse trained. Terrible. I was so mad at the weather. It was so bad. The horses did their work. I was happy with them. Really impressed with the way Captain Incredible looked, Memento Mori looked, a lot of the 3-year-olds looked. I'm going to go back with a number of those 3-year-olds, maybe even in 2.5 or 2.6 in the race bike on Friday. I told Amy we have a ton of work to do on Friday. I hope the weather's good. I haven't checked yet. Fingers crossed. because I have a ton of work to do on Friday. I did book off the Meadows. I do want to grab the kids. We're going to have to leave at 11 o'clock regardless with Ollie if we're going to make baseball practice on Friday night. So grab the kids, scoot out of town if we can, and head to Ontario for the weekend. If you're in Ontario, if you're around Ontario, again, weather permitting, I don't think it's supposed to be bad this week, maybe like -3 or something. I am going to scoot by the barn on Saturday. I am going to train all the babies. Now, if James wants to train his, great. There'll be 4 in a set. Hopefully, I can talk Curtis in. I know either Curtis is trying his hardest to work it out or trying his hardest to avoid me. I'm not sure. But I have asked him twice now if he can video on Saturday. Hopefully, he can. I know he's going to be busy himself. All jokes aside, he's got to do the video work for the O'Brien Awards. So he's got a lot on his plate that day anyway. But it would be nice to get them done Saturday. And I would like to have a look at some of the other horses too, getting ready to go. So with that, I'm going to let you go. The 13th race is coming up in about 40 minutes. Wish me luck. Wish all my partners luck with Tenacious Hanover, and I will talk to you all very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday night.